Good morning, Carly.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. What case are you here for this morning?
For Christian Zarate Rico?
Okay, are you the victim?
Yeah,
Okay, are you going to be making a statement?
no,
You're just observing?
yes.
All right, I will let the judge know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's the judge? Wow.
I had to restart the computer.
I know, she's sweet. You're beautiful. Oh, no. Yep, we're good to go.
Okay, morning, everyone. All right. Looks like the first individual we're gonna see this morning is Jonathan Zarco, followed by Amber Lowe. And then for the record, I've had a chance to go through each one of these files, so I'm familiar with the probable cause sheet in this case, as well, obviously, as the risk assessment and court services assessment and notes. So I'm really interested in failure to appear, failure to comply, as well as community safety when outlining the case. All right, are we ready to proceed with Jonathan?
Your Honor, Mr. Sarko is not transported. I would note that Department 6 of the Second Judicial District recently referred him for competency proceedings. So I would request an interim bail, and then I would guess that this case will be stayed once those charges are filed, as long as he's pending competency in district court.
All right. So Ms. Casso, do you want to set interim bail?
Yes, Your Honor, that does sound appropriate. The state is seeking $10,000 with no 10% cash alternative based on the Category B charge, and we aren't asking for any conditions.
Okay. All right, so let me change my JRO. All right, so there'll be no conditions on this one, so I've scratched that out. Okay, so bail will be set at 10,000, no 10% cash option, and it's interim. All right. How about Amber Lowe?
Right here.
Good morning.
Morning, so just bear with me. I find Ms. Lowe. Okay. All right, I'm ready to proceed with Ms. Lowe. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, in Ms. Lowe's case, we are seeking $20,000 bail along with pretrial supervision, which would include testing for controlled substances and or alcohol. Ms. Lowe presents as an interesting case. It is a DUI. It is a felony or DUI with a prior felony conviction. Obviously, that
Right.
means that her penalty will be prison. There is nothing lesser if she is convicted of the offense. All of her criminal history is older. As noted in the probable cause declaration, that prior felony is from 2010. She does have significant criminal history revolving around using controlled substances, but it all predates that 2010 felony conviction. I don't show anything since that felony conviction in 2010. Obviously, she's got prior DUIs leading up to that 2010 felony conviction. Her history goes all the way back to 1994, again, revolving around controlled substances. However, based on the underlying facts of the case, which did present oddly as her driving pattern, why the police were called there in the first place, and then her results on the FSTs, the state believes that she does present a danger to the public. And so based on that, we are seeking the $20,000 with supervision.
Given that criminal history, I don't know how they scored a 5 in this.
I have to
What do you
imagine
think,
because it's so old, but yes.
Right. All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, my response would be is that I think that 5 is appropriate given the age of her criminal history. Ms. Lowe has achieved some stability since she was released from prison in her other case. She's living at 2300 Prater Way in Sparks. She has a friend in reference, Dana Straba, who we were able to call and verify that. And so we would ask for an OR release with the condition of pretrial services supervision which would include drug and alcohol testing, which the defense would submit would be sufficient to safeguard the safety of the community.
Not with that significant substance abuse history. I'm gonna set her bail at $20,000. In this case, should be subject to testing. She must reside at 2300 Prater Way. And she'll have supervised check-ins. All right? That. You didn't miss that, didn't you? All right, so let's do it. Yes. All right. Did get around. All right, so the next individual is gonna be Moses Mancelis. Moses Mancelis, followed by Hayward Moore or Moya. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state is seeking $50,000 with no 10% cash alternative. In Mr. Mencia's case, that is based on the underlying conduct outlined in the probable cause declaration, his higher risk assessment score, but more importantly, his criminal history. Obviously, he's facing an eluding charge in this case. His last convictions, he has 2 different felony convictions in 2019 for felony eluding, both out of our Second Judicial District Court. He went to prison on both of those cases. Those sentences ran consecutive to one another. Looks like he was released somewhere around late 2022, early 2023 on those matters. I don't know how long his parole tail was on those cases, but those are the last convictions I show for him. Prior to that, he has a gross misdemeanor conviction in 2018 for attempted possession of a controlled substance. He has a fray misdemeanor in 2013, another eluding felony conviction in 2013 out of our court, plus a grand larceny. 2012, another felony conviction for evading a police officer, this time out of California. He did receive probation on that matter. It was later revoked. Another felony conviction, this time for possession of a stolen motor vehicle in 2012 out of California. Again, he received probation, but it was later revoked. And then finally in 2011, a misdemeanor conviction for burglary out of California, again, received probation, later revoked. So this defendant does have a significant criminal history, similar type offenses. Obviously, his behavior was very risky to our community based on his driving. So the state does believe the $50,000 is appropriate. Although it doesn't fit the administrative order, we're asking for the no 10% based on the community safety risk of this defendant.
All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, Mr. Mencius cannot afford a cash bail or any bail amount. So any money bail set by this court is going to be a de facto detention order. Mr. Mencius does enjoy the presumption of innocence for these charges. He has been living in the Reno area for most of his adult life. We were able to contact his ex-wife, who verified that while they are getting a divorce, she is supportive of him, and believes that he could get his own place if he were to be released from jail today.
Does his wife reside at 925 West King Street?
Correct.
All right. So I'm gonna set his bail at $30,000, no 10% cash out option, to be subject to drug and alcohol testing. I have him shall not possess firearms or weapons, given the facts in the probable cause sheet. And then he'll have supervised check-ins. All right. Next individual is Hayward Moya, followed by Christian Zarate Rico. right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Although this defendant scores higher on the risk assessment, the state is not going to object to releasing him on his own recognizance. We are asking for pretrial supervision, whatever that looks like, which would include testing for controlled substances.
Right. Finish my JRO. All right, so I have obviously supervision, drug and alcohol testing. And then he will be released, provided he's not being held on any other matter.
November 12th at 9 AM.
Is that gonna be all the arraignments?
Yes.
The ORs? Okay. All right. How about Christian Zarate Rico?
Oh, yeah, just have a seat, okay.
All right, followed by Brandon Lee Adams. All right, is state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's seeking $10,000 in bail for this defendant. We're also asking for a no contact order with the 17-year-old victim. First name of Lizeth, Lizeth, last name starting with Z. We would also ask for a no alcohol clause and testing. We do believe, and a no firearms or weapons clause as well, based on the violence outlined in the probable cause declaration. We're asking
Right.
for that bail based on, again, the facts, violent facts outlined in the probable cause declaration against two different victims. He does score 5 on the risk assessment, although we know he wasn't arrested on the date that this happened. He was arrested a few days later. That was on October 22nd. He did pick up new charges when the police contacted him regarding a different domestic dispute, not having to do with this case. When the police arrived, he resisted and obstructed and didn't comply with their commands. He's now facing that obstructing and resisting charge in Reno Municipal Court. He's only 21 years of age, so you will not be surprised that he doesn't have a long criminal history. So he's got that charge pending. And then this case, we did speak with the victim in the case, Miss Novoa, which I believe she is present here on the Zoom this morning. She is not asking for a no contact. She doesn't believe there is a safety risk. She did mention that the defendant has a drinking problem, continues to drink, and that he had been drinking during this incident. The state also talked to the minor victim, and she had very similar answers. She did not want a no contact order, although the state is still asking for one for her since she is a juvenile. Same thing, she said he does drink, and she believed alcohol was involved in this incident, also not fearful. And I will submit it on that.
Okay, let me just confirm something before I go to the public defender. So I had all 3. So it looks like Carly does not want a no contact order. And then you want one for Lizeth Zarate. What about Aaliyah Nova or Novaya?
Well, that's the young child that he shares with Miss Novoa. I believe she wouldn't, I'm assuming she's not asking for a no contact order with the child either.
Right.
The state would not seek one based on the facts of the case and the victim's wishes.
All right. And then this all occurred at 2261 Patton Drive, correct?
I believe so, Your Honor, if that's what it says on the probable cause sheet.
Correct. And he lives there, correct? Based on this, on the PC sheet.
Yes, I believe so.
And then let me just confirm my notes here. Looks like Lizeth Zarate is the sister, correct?
Yes.
All right, she obviously doesn't live there, it looks like. All right, so if Kaylee does not want a no contact order, I'm assuming now that 2261 Patton Drive would not be a protected property.
The problem is, I think Lizette might live there. It looks like Kaylee lives at a different residence. The PC says she came down from South Lake Tahoe, so I don't believe they reside
Right.
together. I'm not sure
Right.
about the sister. It does appear the sister might live there.
All right, so that would include the property then.
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to clear that up. All right, so do we have a response?
Your Honor, I've spoken with Mr. Zarate Rico. He does have a friend in Carson City that he could stay with if this court chooses to impose a no contact order with that address. He has been working in construction. He's doing day labor. He can't afford any amount of bail, but he would submit that given the facts alleged in the PC sheet and as recited by the state, we would submit that alcohol testing would be a large step to ensuring the safety of the community and would ask for an OR release.
Okay, where's the other place where he can reside in it? Did you verify that address?
Your Honor, he does not have his friend's phone number. We were unable to verify that address, but he would comply with a no contact order if issued by this court.
Okay, well, but what's the address in Carson City though, that he can stay?
I don't quite remember. I do know it's on Airport Road.
All right. I'm gonna add one more condition to this, so bail will be set at $5,000. In this case, given his risk assessment, no contact with LIZETHZARATE, as well as 2261 Patton Drive. Will be subject to drug and alcohol testing, shall not possess firearms, and I need verification that you have another place to reside. You'll have supervised check-ins. All right. All right, next individual is Brandon Lee Adams.
Your Honor, Mr. Adams has refused. We would ask if we could continue to Monday.
Right, well, put Mr. Adams aside.
He was reset from yesterday.
He was continued from reset. Oh, that's right. This was Pearson's case, right?
So we have to go forward today.
All right, so we do have to go forward since we've already had one continuance.
Then I will submit, Your Honor.
And Ms. Casso,
You're on the state is seeking $15,000 for Mr. Adams' case, along with pretrial supervision. If the court would like, I can make a record that is based on his high risk assessment score of 14. He has
Right.
a significant history, including violent convictions and compliance issues recently. So the state believes that bail is appropriate.
all right, what about no possession of firearms and weapons?
He is a convicted felon, Your Honor, so that is appropriate.
All right. Any other conditions with respect to possessing? For example, like a lighter or something that would not allow him to go out, commit additional arson crimes?
I don't think it's necessary, Your Honor. I don't, again, I'm not sure exactly what that would look like or how that would be carried out. So I would not seek that at this time.
I don't disagree, just think that I thought I'd mention it. They're all gonna be set at $15,000, subject to drug and alcohol testing, so do not possess firearms or weapons, supervised check-ins. And for the record, I think this DAS issue is gonna get resolved. as I understand it, so. That'll be figured out in the next 30 days, I believe.
Great.
All right. Next individual is going to be Clifford Hardy. Followed by Samuel Lewis Jefferson Chavez. All right. Stay ready to proceed with Mr. Hardy.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, state seeking $10,000 for Mr. Hardy. That is based on the conduct outlined in the probable cause declaration. His upper moderate risk score of 8. He has compliance issues with his criminal history, which consists of in 2024, he was cited for defrauding a proprietor out of Reno Municipal Court. He failed to appear during the pendency of that case, and a warrant had to be issued for his arrest. He was also cited that year for drinking in public out of Reno Municipal Court. Again, he failed to appear, and a warrant had to be issued for his arrest, which are those 2 pending cases in RMC that are mentioned in his pretrial services paperwork. 2023, another, this time a misdemeanor conviction for drinking in public out of Reno Municipal Court. He has 2 different failures to appear associated to that case. 2016, driving on a revoked driver's license, driving on a revoked due to DUI, a hit and run, and a DUI convictions out of Florida. It appears that they were all misdemeanors. And then he's got a misdemeanor conviction for resisting out of Florida in 2015, and then way back in 1997, a DUI conviction. We were able to speak to the victim in this case, Kylie Cullen. She did not want to be here this morning, but she did want the court to know that she is seeking a no contact order. She said this defendant has done this type of behavior before. He constantly is coming in her place of business, which is where this occurred. She said he smelled like alcohol. She just wants him to stay away from her. He's made inappropriate comments to her. And I believe she's only 18, or she said it started happening when she was only 18 years of age. So the state is seeking that $10,000 bail along with pretrial supervision, which would include an alcohol testing condition, as well as a no contact order with the victim, as well as her place of employment, the spin cycle.
All right, so I already have those conditions in my JRO. Do we have a response?
Your Honor, we don't object to any of the conditions requested by the state, but would submit that those are sufficient to safeguard the safety of the community. We have spoken to his grandmother, Loretta. He does take care of her. They live together at the Senator on 2nd. She is scheduled to have surgery, and he's taking care of her. He's making all of her appointments and has been making sure that she gets to those appointments. She does have mobility and memory issues. Given his responsibilities there and that he does have a place to live, we would ask for that OR, but again, with the no alcohol and the no contact provisions that were requested by the state.
And it's the does she live at 133 North Virginia Street,
No.
number 901?
No, Your Honor. We moved from the Nevadian to the Senator on 2nd. I don't know the exact address. I just know it's on 2nd.
Okay, did the public defender verify this information about him being a caregiver?
Yes, we did, and that they are living at the Senator on 2nd. I can look that address up if Your Honor would like.
She's supposed to
They
have
both live
need.
together. Oh, hold on a second, sir.
Okay.
So they both live together at the Senator?
Yes, and that's at 136 West 2nd.
How'd they get the 133 North Virginia?
That's the address of the Nevadan where they were living previously.
So what's the new address?
136 West 2nd Street.
All right. All right, so some bail is appropriate. I mean, he has, I reviewed the file. He already has 3 arrests, failure to appear and comply, 2 and 24, 1 and 23. I'm gonna set his bail at $5,000. All right, given the conditions. No contact with Kylie Cullen and the spin cycle. If you go there, sir, you're gonna be arrested again. Drugs and alcohol testing shall reside at 136 West Second Street, and I'll have supervised check-ins.
Permission to speak, Your Honor?
You don't want to say anything.
Now,
Get a pardon.
my decision.
Okay.
All right, next is Samuel, or no, we did Clifford. How about Samuel Louis Chavez? All right, the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. State is seeking $15,000 bail for this defendant, along with pretrial supervision, which would include a no contact order with the victim, which would be per
Correct.
court order as well as per statute for 120 days. We're also seeking a no firearms or weapons clause and a no alcohol and testing clause. That those conditions in that bail are based on the facts of the case as outlined. He scores an 8 on the risk assessment. What we know is that he is currently under supervision for a Sparks Justice Court case. That is a conviction that happened earlier this year in January for obstructing and resisting and possession of drug paraphernalia. He's on 2 different suspended sentences, 6 months on each to run consecutive if he violates. So he has about a year hanging over his head for that case. And part of his conditions were to obey all laws. He's under DAS supervision for 1 year with a substance abuse evaluation. In 2024, he was convicted of petty larceny. That was pled down from a robbery out of Reno Justice Court. He's also convicted of trespassing that same year. He's got a DUI in 2023 and then an arrest for domestic in 2018. Looks like it was dismissed without prejudice at a trial. We were able to speak to the victim in this case. She did not want to be present this morning. She did ask for the no contact order. She said she is afraid of the defendant when he is drinking. And she said he was drinking during this incident. They have had prior domestic issues between the two. The defendant has been violent with her in the past that she has not reported. She said that she continues to have symptoms from the strangulation, which include a sore throat, a headache. Even when my investigator was talking to her, she was coughing constantly and having to clear her throat. This was a serious domestic violence by strangulation incident with a blanket. So the state does believe the $15,000 with those conditions is warranted.
All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, Mr. Chavez cannot afford money bail. He is asking for an OR release. We have spoken to his mother, who verified that he's been working at Tesla for the past 7 years. His next shift is tomorrow. We've also spoken with his girlfriend, who verified his address at the Capri Hotel at 895 North Virginia Street. He lives by himself there and so would be able to comply with the no contact order requested by the state, and we do not have any objection to testing by pretrial services.
Well, it's not going to be OR given the facts of this case and the way he used the blanket and choked the victim in this case. So his bail is going to be set at $15,000. No contact with Alexis, Trenal, as well as Alora Chavez, which was the victim, the child in this case that was in her arms. So the no contact will also include the statutory no contact for 120 days. He'll be subject to testing, shall not possess firearms or weapons. If he's able to post, must reside at the Capri Motel, and he'll have supervised check-ins. All right. Next is Harry Bogart, followed by Joseph Martinez. All right, is state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. State seeking $10,000 bail for Mr. Bogart. That's based on the higher amount of controlled substances found in the vehicle, his risk assessment score of 8. We know that in 2024, he was convicted of possession of drug paraphernalia out of Reno Justice Court. He did receive a suspended sentence in that case with DAS supervision. He never complied with DAS supervision, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. He failed to appear at the order to show cause in that case. The bench warrant was issued back on April 3rd, 2024. So he has been absent from that case for over a year. There's 1,000 cash only bail in that matter. In addition to that, he's been convicted of possession of drug paraphernalia in 2022. He's got a felony conviction for conspiracy to violate the Uniform Controlled Substances Act. That occurred in 2014. He's got a DUI in 2011, an attempted uttering forged instrument charge from 2000. He's got another felony conviction, this time for being under the influence of a controlled substance back in 1993. And some other fugitive matters back in the early 90s. But again, based on the amount the state believes and his recent non-compliance in a Reno Justice Court case, the state believes the $10,000 with pretrial supervision and testing for controlled substances is appropriate.
All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, Mr. Bogart would request an OR release in this case, given the charges of possession of a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia. He is an 8, and especially combined with his risk assessment score, which is an 8. He's lived in Reno for the past 20 years. He is receiving Social Security. He has retired from maintenance work. He has a friend that he lives with at 1010 Barnum Lane in Reno. He does side jobs for him. And so we submit that he is in a more stable spot in his life, and with testing by pretrial services would not be a flight risk and would return to court.
So what's the, I thought he resided at 190 LaRue Street.
No, 10
You're at he is at 1010 Barrum, Barrum.
All right. Some bail is appropriate in this case based on his failure to appear and his warrant. So I'm going to set his bail at $5,000, subject to drug and alcohol testing. He must reside at 1010 Barron. I believe that's Way.
I think it's
To
Lane.
verify that. Is it Barron Lane?
Yes.
Okay. He'll have supervised check-ins with DAS. All right. Next is Joseph Martinez. Followed by Justin Robinson. Are we ready to proceed with Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state's not going to object to releasing the defendant on his own recognizance. He does score a 5 on the risk assessment. I don't show that he has any other criminal history. We did speak with the victim in the case. She is asking for a no contact order. So he will not be able to return to that residence if the court imposes that condition. She also said that that she's not in fear for her safety, but that the defendant, she believes, uses controlled substances or has used them. and I'm sorry, I didn't know if she was going to be here or not. She is Spanish speaking. I know she is with her daughter. I don't know if they would like to speak at the appropriate time. But based on that, we are not objecting to releasing him as on a recognizance again with that no contact order in place.
Okay,
And for the court's
Do we
information,
know-
Miss Denora did get a no contact order through the court as well. She does have a TPO.
all right. So the non-contact order with her.
Oh,
would
he's
also include
fucking
the
up. I
address
can't
at
hear.
nine- Who's that?
Judge, it appeared it was part of the victim's family and they did use an expletive. So the clerk took them out of the Zoom hearing.
Okay. Is that accurate?
Oh, she just left.
Oh, she left. All right. So that would include 9330 Fremont Way, correct, where the mother resides?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and is it gonna include a statutory, no contact?
I don't think it's necessary, Your Honor, because she's already obtained that TPO.
Okay.
I'll leave it up to her whether she goes to the EPO and gets it extended for a year.
All right. All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, we would join in the request for an OR release.
All right, so he's gonna be OR, no contact with Denora Martinez, which is the mother, as well as 9330 Fremont Way. So that means you cannot go back there, sir. You're gonna have to find another place to live. To be,
Mike, the victim, I don't,
pardon me?
that Mike, the victim, the one on, I don't.
Okay, I'll go back to her in a minute. Drug and alcohol testing. Shall not possess firearms or weapons. It must be confirmed that he can live somewhere else other than the 9330 Fremont Way. And again, he'll have no contact with the mother and subject to supervised check-ins. So let me stop for a moment. Does Ms. Martinez want to make a statement on this case? A brief statement.
Unfortunately, she had an appointment where her daughters were Joseph's sisters.
She does not.
Okay. All right. Well, he's not going to be able to contact his mom, Nora Martinez, and he will not be able to go back to 9330 Fremont Way. All right. And he'll be subject to drug and alcohol testing, and he must live someplace else. Should not possess firearms or weapons, and he'll be under supervised check-ins with DAS. All right, so that's the conditions.
Your Honor,
that
I
he's gonna-
believe his plan would be to go to the CARES campus then. Would he be permitted to live there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there's nothing further, those are gonna be conditions that are gonna be imposed on Mr. Martinez. All right,
Thanks.
Could I verify that status conference date?
yeah, it's gonna be November 12th at 9 AM, correct?
Correct. You may.
Arraignment. All right, we're gonna move on to the next case, so. Okay, they've done that already,
The
okay,
victims can log off for that case.
right. All right, next is Justin Robinson, or Robinson. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. State seeking $20,000 for Mr. Robinson. That is based on his higher risk assessment score of 11. He did have the outstanding bench warrant out of the Reno Municipal Court when he was arrested on this case. That goes to some traffic offenses, driving without a valid driver's license, which he was cited for this year. He failed to appear at arraignment, and a bench warrant was issued for his arrest. He does have a felony conviction in 2023 for prohibited person in possession of a firearm. Looks like he got a prison sentence on that. When I looked at his compliance history in that recent case, he tested positive. He failed to appear. A bench warrant had to be issued for his arrest. He was also convicted that year of burglary of a motor vehicle. Same exact procedural history in regards to his pretrial supervision. He tested positive. He failed to appear. He has convictions, another felony conviction in 2017 for attempted burglary plus grand larceny of a firearm. He went to prison on that case. He was discharged in 2020 of his parole. Then he has a series of misdemeanors that revolve around substance abuse. He's got DUIs, possession of drug paraphernalia in 2017, 16, and 2 in 2015. He has, looks like the remainder of his convictions are all misdemeanors. They date back to 2006 is his first one that we show, possession of drug paraphernalia. So long history, multi-convicted felon at this point, based on the facts of the case, as well as his compliance issues recently. The state believes that the $20,000 is appropriate. We would ask for pretrial supervision, along with a no firearms or weapons clause. Also testing for controlled substances based on the based on his admissions of trading fentanyl for the car.
Right. All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, Mr. Robinson cannot afford money bail in this case. That $20,000 bail requested by the state is going to be a de facto detention order. We have spoken with his sister and a friend and verified some of his information. He's been living on South Virginia at the best motor value, and he's been working, doing day labor for that motel. He's lived in Reno for the past 38 years, is familiar with the area, has many ties and family here, and I do not believe is a flight risk. So we would request an OR release with conditions in this case.
Well, he has a history of failure to appear as well as failure to comply, so I don't think he would be a good candidate for an OR release. So his bail is going to be set at $15,000. No contact with Miss Wolf, as well as the address in the PC sheet, 3855 East. Looks like Leonesio Drive. H2 is the unit. He's subject to drug and alcohol testing, so not possess firearms or weapons. Assuming he can post, he must reside at the Best Value Motel. He'll have supervised check-ins. Given his failures to appear and comply, bail would be appropriate. All right. Let's see, next is this from Mr. Brooks? Yep. All right. Next is Matthew Brooks. Then after Mr. Brooks is going to be Alex Bumper.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, ready to proceed? Morning.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, state seeking 1,000 cash only for Mr. Brooks' case. Normally we wouldn't ask for bail for these type of misdemeanor offenses. However, you can see he has a higher risk assessment score, and had multiple traffic warrants out for his arrest when he was arrested on this case. His criminal history, we know just in August of this year, he was convicted of false statement to obstruct a police officer. That was out of Sparks Justice Court. He was also convicted this year of driving on a suspended driver's license. That was out of Reno Municipal Court. He failed to appear at arraignment in that case. He then failed to appear at sentencing in that case. After he was released on being picked up that first bench warrant and pleading guilty, he was ordered to come to RMC and check in, and he didn't do that either. He has another misdemeanor arrest for failure to appear bench warrant out of Susanville in 2023. He's got an arrest for taking a vehicle without consent, tampering with the motor vehicle, and possession of drug paraphernalia out of Susanville in 2022. There's no disposition to that case.
Yeah,
I believe
that was all.
the bench warrant in 2023 was related to that case. And then he has misdemeanor conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia, petty larceny. In 2022, that petty larceny was out of Reno Municipal Court. And again, he failed to appear at arraignment in that matter. He has convictions again in 2018 for possession of drug paraphernalia, battery. Another possession of drug paraphernalia. And then it looks like convictions for DUI back in 2015 with multiple warrants and failures to appear associated to that case as well. So defendant has a large non-compliance history. So for that, we believe the 1,000 cash only is appropriate.
All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, given these charges, which are non-violent misdemeanors, many of them traffic, we would request an OR release in this case. We have been in contact actually with Mr. Brooks' boss. His name is Jared. He lives in Susanville. He confirmed that Mr. Brooks is employed. They have a handyman business where they do finished carpentry and flooring and drywalling. He verified Mr. Brooks' address at 780 Hall Street, apartment 406 in Susanville. So he has a place to live. He has a job. He understands he needs to come back to court to resolve these charges. But to detain him, I think is going to put him in a place where he's not able to pay fines or fees or otherwise take affirmative steps to resolve these cases and get his life back in order.
What's the address in Susanville?
780 Hall Street, apartment 406.
You said apartment 406,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you don't have an address here in Reno?
I don't have one here in Reno, but my sister lives in Fernley, you know what I mean?
Then I take it the public defender was not able to verify that Fernley address, correct?
No, just the Susanville address, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna set his bail at $500 for 10% cash. Obviously, he's working. He'll be subject to drug and alcohol testing, shall not possess firearms or weapons. Must reside at 780 Hall Street, number 406 in Susanville. And he'll be subject to supervised check-ins. All right. He would be a good candidate for OR, but he's got too many failure to appear and comply in his history. All right,
Thank you, Your
so
Honor.
it'll be 500 or 10% cash.
That's with this.
All right.
Just this
All right.
case, but yes, you're out on this one.
Next individual is going to be Alex Bumper, followed by Kathy Cooksey, I believe it is. All right, so this is a rather long probable cause sheet. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, state seeking $20,000 bail along with pretrial services or pretrial supervision with a no contact order with the victim of the case, Brianna Kirksey.
Right,
We're asking for that based on the facts as outlined in the case, as well as the defendant's lack of ties to our community. Based on his own statements, he does not reside here. He resides in Oregon. His criminal history, his last conviction that I show is a felony conviction for possession of marijuana for sale out of Arizona in 2018. He then has two different counts of felony, or he's convicted on two different counts of felony promoting prostitution, obviously very similar to the facts that we see here, coupled with a simple assault conviction that was out of Washington State. In 2013, he was arrested for domestic violence out of Washington. It appears it was later dismissed. He has another felony conviction, this time for trafficking in a controlled substance back in 2007. That was out of our local Second Judicial District Court. Another felony conviction for grand larceny that same year out of the Second Judicial District Court. And then a possession of marijuana misdemeanor conviction back in 2005. So while I'm not showing recent history other than that felony conviction out of Arizona, certainly his conduct is similar to prior convictions So we do believe bail is appropriate. Based on his lack of ties, we would also seek a house arrest and GPS monitor in order to make sure that he shows up for court.
Then on the 20,000, did you say no 10% cash option?
Well, Your Honor, we never agreed to the 10% cash option, but it's not a qualifying offense for that.
Right. I agree. I thought I heard you say no 10% cash option. All right. Do we have a response?
Your Honor, the defense would would request bail in the amount of $10,000. Mr. Bumpers is a 7 on the MPRA. That's in the lower or mid-range of the moderate risk. His work is mostly through DoorDash right now, so he could continue to do that if he returned home to Oregon and came here to court. Or if he was required to stay here locally, he could continue to work that job here. He does have a phone that we've been able to verify, and so we submit that he would be able to stay in contact with court, and we are agreeing to some bail amount to ensure his return to court.
All right, well, given the facts of this case, his bail is going to be set at $20,000. With the 10% cash option, no contact with Brianna Kirksey, individual in the probable cause sheet, be subject to residential confinement, fitted before release, will be subject to testing, shall not possess firearms or weapons, supervised check-ins. Given the facts of this case. All right. All right, next is Kathy Cooksey, followed by Clifton John, Despaine. All right, is the state ready to proceed with Kathy?
Yes, Your Honor. State's seeking $10,000 for this defendant, along with pretrial supervision with check-ins. That's based on her very high risk assessment score at 14. We know that she currently has a burglary of a motor vehicle charge pending in Reno Justice Court from this year. She was released on her own recognizance. Originally in that case, she never checked in with DAS. There wasn't a benchmark issued for her arrest because she then ended up showing up for the MSC. It's currently set in December, but she does have that pending case. In addition to that, she has, from this year, she's been cited for petty larceny out of Reno Municipal Court. She also has a cite for no registration out of Reno Municipal Court, which she failed to appear at arraignment on. She has convictions for possession of drug paraphernalia in 2021 out of Reno Municipal Court. Again, she has a failure to appear during the pendency of that case at arraignment, and a bench warrant had to be issued. She has a felony conviction for bank robbery, a federal conviction in 2021. It looks like her supervised release was revoked in 2022 on that case. And then in 2024, it shows a probation violation associated with that case as well. She's got another felony conviction, this time for DUI and child cruelty out of California in 2018. She has another felony conviction for perjury back in 2008 out of California. She has misdemeanors sprinkled in there, which consist of DUI and possession of drug paraphernalia, again, all out of California. Her history goes all the way back to the early, it looks like her first conviction was 2000 for a misdemeanor conviction for retail theft. So plenty of theft charges, controlled substance charges, obviously concerning recent felony convictions within the last 10 years. So we do believe that that bail of $10,000 is appropriate along with supervision.
All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, without getting too much into the facts of this case, Miss Cooksey is in the process of moving out of her apartment. She was moving her things into the apartment of her boyfriend, Chris King, who has verified that. The reason that she was vacating her apartment is because in connection with her current active case, she has been working with DAS. She's been completing counseling at Quest. She's gotten a substance abuse evaluation, has a counselor there, and actually informs me that she has a bed at New Frontier. The reason she was moving and tying up loose ends is that she was supposed to go to New Frontier for inpatient treatment this coming week. So in this case, we would, recognizing her prior history, we would ask for an OR, but we would ask that that OR be to a treatment program. I would be hopeful that the jail could, that IAP could work with New Frontier to arrange her transport there for that bed and to verify that, or that they could start the process to get her a bed somewhere else if that doesn't work out due to this arrest.
All right, does the state have a comment on direct transport to a inpatient treatment?
I was just looking at her other case to see if I could verify any of that information. I don't have any of that information, other than she didn't comply initially with DAS. She,
I just,
And Your Honor, the defense submits this would all be contingent on IAP verifying the availability of a bed. And
no, I
that,
understand.
so the state would have no objection to that, Your Honor.
Right, makes sense. All right, and her boyfriend's address, does that happen to be the 1555 Marlwell Way, Suite 301, Park 301?
That's my address.
Is that the old address?
that's when you're moving out of. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
That's her old address, that's her old address, the one she's moving out of.
Okay. And what's the address she's moving to?
10 Carrington Way.
What is it?
10 Carrington Way.
10 Carrington Way?
Spell
Yeah.
Carrington.
I don't know how it's spelled.
Your Honor, we're not sure how that's spelled.
Probably Carrington, Carrington Way. All right, so let me go through these conditions and make sure they're accurate. The bail is going to be set at $10,000. She will be subject to drug and alcohol testing. Given her high-risk assessment, she shall not possess firearms or weapons, and she'll have supervised check-ins with DAS. The exception is that if IAP can verify that she is eligible for a direct transport to New Frontier or other inpatient facility treatment, then she can be transferred to that treatment based on an OR without the bail. Right. Scott, did you want to add anything?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so that'll give her an opportunity to get inpatient treatment, assuming she can meet those requirements. All right, are we good on this?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's for the state.
okay. All right, so hopefully it works out for her. Next is Clifton John Despain. All right. State ready to proceed with Mr. Despain?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state seeking $3,000 bail for this defendant, along with pretrial supervision with check-ins. The defendant scores very high on the risk assessment at 16. The defendant has a very large criminal history. We know he had at least 4 different outstanding bench warrants when he was arrested on this matter. 2 of those out of Sparks Municipal Court, 2 of those out of Reno Municipal Court, all of them for failures to appear. I'm not going to go over his entire history because it would take a very long time, but just this year he's been cited for trespassing out of Reno Municipal Court, where he failed to appear at arraignment. He's got another trespassing, which he pled guilty to in Reno Municipal Court. They released him. He was to show up for his community court sentencing. He never showed up, failed to appear. A bench warrant had to be issued for his arrest. Another trespassing is currently pending in Reno Municipal Court, or two different trespassings are pending in Reno Municipal Court for him. He's got a battery plus a trespassing conviction in 2024 out of Reno Justice Court. And it goes on and on like that all the way back to about 2007. Many compliance issues. Obviously, his risk assessment score alone should tell the court that bail needs to be imposed in this case. Again, we're seeking the $3,000.
All right, do we have a response?
Your Honor, Mr. Disney is requesting an OR release with the condition that he be supervised by pretrial services and subject to drug testing. And we submit that that would be appropriate in this case.
You'd be right, other than his failure to appear and failure to comply in this case. So bail needs to be set at $3,000. He'll be subject to testing, to not possess firearms or weapons, and he'll have supervised check-ins in this case. All right, how about Timothy Holbeck, followed by Anastasia Lombardi? All right. State ready to proceed on this case?
No, Your Honor, we are going to seek a one-day continuance in order to comply with Marcy's law to get a hold of the juvenile victim, or at least the other parent for the juvenile victim.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grant the continuance based on the fact that it's Marcy's law. All right. The next individual is going to be Anastasia Lombardi. All right, let's stay ready to proceed with Ms. Lombardi.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, based on her risk assessment and no adult criminal history, the state's not going to object to releasing her on her own recognizance. I don't believe conditions other than checking in are necessary, and I will submit it on that.
All right, let me just check my notes on this. No history of drugs or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so she will be subject to release. Condition will be that she'll be supervised, she'll have supervised check-ins. All right. And then her next date would be, right, November 12th, 9 a.m. Okay, November 12th, 9 a.m. is her next date. All right. So we still have Cynthia Mahoney and Andrew. Okay. All right, next individual is Cynthia Mahoney, followed by Andrew Zamora. All right, stay ready to proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, based on the charges and her moderate risk assessment, the state's not going to object to releasing her on her own recognizance. We are asking for pretrial supervision along with testing for controlled substances.
I just want to confirm. Does she have a place to live? Because it was indicated she did not have a fixed address.
Your Honor, she does have an apartment with her boyfriend, but they just moved. She is unsure of the address.
Okay. All right, so subject to testing and supervised check-ins, right? Otherwise, she's gonna be released. All right, next individual is Andrew Zamora.
And Your Honor, he'd waive his appearance.
Okay, stay ready to proceed.
You know, I believe it's just a
Right, so-
fugitive matter, so I,
Right. Right. So it's
November 3rd.
November 3rd is this hearing. So I'm showing Mr. Zamora was the last one. Is that
Your Honor, we don't
accurate?
have anyone else here.
I'm sorry.
We don't have anyone else here.
Okay. All right, you have a good afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow.
thank you. You too.